Hello, my name is Dr. Meutia Irina Mukhlis. I'm from the Department of Philosophy at the University of Indonesia. I'm here to answer several questions. The first form of religion found in Indonesia prior to Islam's dominance is a form of indigenous religion found in different regions of the archipelago. It is a blend of animism, which is the belief in powerful spirits inhabiting objects, places, dynamism, the belief that certain objects have magical powers, and pantheism, or the belief that the universe is a manifestation of God. Some examples include the local religion found in North Sumatra called the Parmelins. They worship the great creator God and the spirit of past leaders. Another example can be found also in Kalimantan, the Kaharingan, who worship spirits that grant life to people, and also in West Java, we are familiar with Sunda Wiwitan, who worship spirits, a creator god, and the god of destiny. They have their own modern versions today, but remains a minority because these beliefs go against the tenets of Islam and Christianity, while many other indigenous religions, however, did not survive. In addition to the indigenous religions, Hinduism and Buddhism were also considered as the two oldest religions found in the archipelago before Islam. When precisely these religions first entered Indonesia is a matter of debate, with one opinion saying that Hinduism came to Indonesia in the 1st century and Buddhism followed a century later, while another saying that Hinduism came to the island in the 2nd century when Indian traders visited the island of Sumatra, Java, and Sulawesi. However, not everyone agrees with this narrative. There has been a debate not just about when the religion first arrived at the archipelago, but also how the religion spread, with some insisting that it was not the traders but the Brahmins or Hindu priests who spread the religion in the islands. Although a lot of the history of the religion's arrival has been a subject of debate among scholars, most historians agree that the earliest record of their presence can be traced back to the Hindu kingdom Kutai from the 4th century in East Kalimantan. By the time Majapahit, the largest Hindu-Buddhist kingdom in Indonesian history, rose to power in the 14th century, the two religions had been negotiated into a synthetic form. The key to the synthesis was the political decision of the kings to allow the incorporation of the new elements into the older religions. The two largest ancient temples in Indonesia, the Borobudur and Prambanan, constructed consecutively as Buddhist and Hindu temples, stand as historical proof of the political acceptance of the religions by the ancient kings. The various religions that we have in Indonesia came through different routes. Most of them came through the trading activities of foreign merchants who made frequent visits to the archipelago to sell their products or to temporarily transit on their way to another location. We know that Indonesia is strategically positioned on the sea routes connecting the Indian and the Pacific Oceans. Since early times, Indonesia served as one of the most important stations along the trading networks maintained by the Chinese, Indian, and Middle Eastern merchants. This causes the frequent intermingling of people from various nationalities. Hence, it is unavoidable that their way of life and culture would also be transmitted to the local population. And sometimes these trade ships do not only carry merchants, but also people from other professions as well, such as scholars and religious figures or priests who were also quite influential in introducing the new religions to the local population. This was, for example, how Hinduism was first introduced to the islands. It was originally thought that the merchants from India brought the Hindu religion to the archipelago, but some historians said that this story is not entirely true. They believe that the religion was actually introduced by the Brahmins or the Hindu priests who came to the archipelago along with the merchants. Islam also came to Indonesia through the trading activities of the Indian, Chinese, and Middle Eastern merchants. A similar story can also be told about the arrival and spread of Christianity. Actually, no one knows precisely when Christianity arrived at the archipelago, with some suggesting that Christianity arrived in Indonesia as early as the 7th century, while others prefer the view that it came around in the 9th or 11th century from India through Persian merchants who brought along some Christians who were persecuted in their lands with them on their journey through the archipelago. With the arrival of the Portuguese and then the Dutch colonialists, Christianity spread further through the teachings of the missionaries. However, Christianity's close association with the colonizers gave the religion a sort of a negative reputation among the local population. Hence, many people had reservations about the religion at the time. So its spread was not as successful as Hinduism, Buddhism, or Islam. However, this does not mean that there were no adherents. Today, the majority of Christian population in the 21st century can be found in areas such as North Sumatra, with more than 3.6 million people, East Nusa Tenggara, North Sulawesi, West Kalimantan, and Papua. But one of the most important aspects to note about the spread of the main religions in Indonesia is that it was peaceful in nature. And most of the main religions, such as Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity, were not forcefully imposed on the local population through violence, of wars, of conquest. The new religions intermingled quite comfortably with some of the local indigenous religions. Hence, we often see a synthesized form of the main religions in Indonesia. This means that it is quite normal to mix some of the teachings of Hinduism or Buddhism with the elements from Christianity or Islam. This practice gives birth to what we call an indigenous form of Islam or Christianity. Of course, there is controversy over the practice, whether one is allowed to actually do it or not, but in practice, this is what the Indonesians did. And this led some scholars, such as Clifford Geertz and Robert R.J., to suggest that Islam only thinly penetrated the surface of society and religious life in Indonesia, particularly in the Javanese society, while the essential worldview was still that of Hindu and Buddhism. And although, of course, we can disagree with their opinion, but some also believed in Clifford Geertz's opinion.